Hi, I'm Barry Sahajian, and this is the bebop line that changed the way I solo. Bebop lines were developed sort of around the Charlie Parker era in the 30s and 40s, many years ago, almost 100 years ago pretty soon. Anyway, I think one of the most important things that made the bebop lines work is the fact that the beboppers changed the scale from 7 notes to 8 notes. They added a note. This made all the difference in the world because now you have an even number to play solos. Now, if you've ever tried playing solos, in the beginning, everyone tells you learn a major scale and you'll be able to solo. But the problem with learning a major scale is it only has 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you repeat it, or if you want to ascend and descend, it'll start to throw you off because you'll wind up on 2, 1, 3. You know, as you repeat it, since 7 doesn't add up as an even number, and we're working in 4/4 time, or even 3/4. 7 is not going to fit in 3/4 either, evenly that is. So let's count out what happens when you ascend and descend with a major scale. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. By the third time, I'm landing on 1 on the 5th degree of the scale. You want to wind up on 1 on the root of the scale. Let's add 1 note that makes it a typical 8-note bebop scale. And there's a lot of places we could add it, but I'm going to add it on the major 7th and the 7th, sort of like this. I'm adding a flat 7 to the major scale, so you have both a major 7 and a flat 7. In other words, we're going chromatically down from the root on the octave. In the case of ascending, you're gonna, when you get to the 6th, you're gonna go 6, flat 7, major 7, and root. So watch this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. You ascend starting from the root, you descend starting from the octave root. And this is primarily one of the great things about bebop that make it easier to solo. I have 2 other videos I did on bebop scales. I did the first bebop scale using the same approach from the 3rd, and then the second one it did the same thing but starting from the 5th. And now this 3rd line I'm going to show you starts from the 3rd again with a little different approach. Let's go through it very slowly. What happens when you play a chromatic line from the 3rd all the way down to the flat 7. That's the first part of the line, and then the last note goes back up to the root. So down from the 3rd chromatically, and then the last note goes up to the root. The fingering on this, you're in position here for a bit, but what happens is you slide out of position by 1 note. You can stretch. There's the stretch. And then go down the rest of the way to the flat 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and see, from right there you can start another line and you'll be starting right on 1. You've executed your bebop line with the 8 notes, and it makes it so much easier. So we're going to start with the G7. That's the G7. Then I just go up 1 fret and I go into the C7. And then go up another fret. Here's the way it works. I'll show you in position. For anyone not that familiar with position is determined by where your index finger is, and it has to have the other 4 frets right behind it. This will be the 2nd position. I'm starting on the G. And then I move over to the 3rd position. And then I move to the 4th position by pivoting from the F to the G. Instead of index and ring finger, I'm using index and 2nd finger. middle finger. And that brings me into the fourth position. Second position, third position, fourth position, fifth. So I'm using a total of 4 positions there. The second position, the third position, the fourth position, and then the fifth position. Right now, I'm going to play this line ascending 12 times, 1 for every key. And then I'm going to play it descending when I get to the top of the neck and do that 12 times in all keys again. The way I do this is I use 3 unique shapes ascending. The 3 shapes repeat over and over 4 times before I reach the top of the neck. When I get to the top of the neck, I change the shapes and I use only 2 shapes descending. And this allows me to go up smoothly like I showed you, step by step, for the most part a fret at a time, yet still traveling in the cycle of fourths. After I finish this, let me explain exactly what I did. I'll break it down and show you examples. I would like to show you visually how this works before we get started on going through all the lines and all the fingerings and shapes. So once again, we have 3 shapes through the first 12 keys ascending, repeated in sequence, 3, 6, 9, 12. So let's take a look at that. The first shape we have is G7. Okay, shape 1 on G7. Second shape, upper 4th, we're going through the cycle of 4ths once again, is a C7. This would use the second shape. Third shape would be upper 4th again to an F7, and that would be shape 3. All right, let's go to the next sequence. Once again, shape 1 is a B flat 7, a 4th away from the F7th we just played, and that uses shape 1. We go over to shape 2, that is up to E flat 7th, a 4th away, and we're using shape 2. Next shape is shape 3, an A flat 7th, a 4th away from the E flat 7th, and that's a second sequence of 3 out of 12 keys. Third sequence would be shape 1, D flat 7th, upper 4th again. Shape 2, G flat 7th, upper 4th again. Shape 3, B 7th, upper 4th again. That will be the next sequence of 3. Next, we have the last sequence, the 4th sequence of 3, 4 3s are 12. After this, we have done all the 12 keys ascending. Shape 1, E7th, shape 2, A7th, shape 3, D7, all in the cycle of 4 still. All right, we have completed ascending up 12 keys using sequences of 3 shapes. Okay, I don't want to lose you now. Stay with me. Next, we're going to descend. This changes because we're only using 2 shapes to descend, because it works a little different when you descend. So we have shape 3 on the first of 12 measures and the first of a sequence of 2. Now we have a sequence of 2, shape 3 and shape 4. So you're going to have 6 sequences of 2 measures as you're descending. So you have shape 3, G7. Go up a 4th to C7th, and you have shape 4. You go up a 4th to F7th, and you have shape 3 again, and that would be up a 4th once again. And then we move on. We move on and we do this again. Shape 4, shape 3, shape 4, B flat 7, E flat 7, A7 in the sequence, in the cycle of 4ths. Okay, we're going up again to D flat 7th and G flat 7th and B 7th, all in the cycle of 4ths. and we got shape 3, shape 4, shape 3. Next, we have the last 3 measures, which includes a shape 4, a shape 3, and a shape 4. And that would be E7, A7, and D7, which is the cycle of 4s completed, ascending and descending. Now I've got to go through it so I can show you the fingerings, how it goes up to the neck. Then you can give it a try. Right now, I'm going to show you all the details of these lines, which would include notes, tabs, fingerings, and neck diagrams. And I will do this in sequence of 3 shapes. However, I'm not going to go through all of the 12 shapes. I will show you only one sequence with 3 shapes, and then after that you take these shapes and just relocate them, and I'll show you how to do that. After that, I'm going to show you the descending shapes. In the case of descending, there's only 2 shapes. You have shape 3 and you have shape 4. I'm going to do that twice just because the sequence is 2, and I'll give you a little more time to see how they transition into each other. There will be 6 sequences of 2, which equals 12 keys, and that will complete the descending part of this exercise. Right now, I'd like to go over how you find the next shape as you're going up the neck. You're always moving in a cycle of 4ths. However, there's a couple of different things that can add to the confusion of this when you're doing it. For instance, we have a G7, and this is the root. This line always starts on the 3rd, so this can cause confusion, and let me show you why and how to avoid that confusion. So you have a G7, and you're starting on the 3rd, to the flat 3, to the 2, to the flat 2, to the root, to the major 7th, and then to the flat 7th, and then you wind up on the root. Now from the root, your next chord shape is going to be down a minor 3rd. Now that doesn't mean it's a minor 3rd. The interval is a minor 3rd, and that is the distance between the first shape and the second shape, which is a 4th away. So you have your G7th, you're going to C7th, but you're starting on the 3rd, which is an E. So to make things simple, you just don't even think about that. You just think about the proximity of the 2 shapes, which are a minor 3rd apart. Now we have both shapes back to back so I can show you the movement of each shape. Okay, on the first shape, this is the target note of the next shape, which would be the 7th fret of the A string, okay? So the next chord is up a 4th, and it will be a C7, and the 7th fret of the A string would be the 3rd of the C7th chord. So we have 3rd, flat 3, 2, flat 2, and then we have the root, the major 7th, and the flat 7th. The next shape will start a 6th up from the root of the C7th. And that would be a 6th away. The distance between these 2 shapes will be a 6th. But you must understand, a 6th up or a minor 3rd down is still a 6th. It's just inverted. So all of these shapes, they move from one to the next with either a major 6th interval in between them or a minor 3rd, which is basically the same, just inverted. So you have going down a minor 3rd from the root of the 7th chord you're on to the following 7th chord, which is going to be up a 4th. Then you have, when you land on the root, you have a major 6 going up to the next 7th chord or 4th away. I know this seems maybe a little confusing, but it's advanced music theory, and it does make sense because it could be a lot more complicated if you thought of it another way. However, there's always that possibility you can find your own way of relating to this, so you can go up the next smooth or transition from one key or one chord to the next. If you like this video, please subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of all the videos yet to come. Like and comment. I hope to see you again, and I thank you for stopping by on this video.